Hello there, everyone. Today I'll be talking to you about personal statements, since they are one of the main components in getting admitted to a university or a college. It's very important for us to understand how to write an effective personal statement, one that encompasses and entails, who you are, what you're good at, why you want to do this, and why you're going to this certain university. Now, a lot of almost every single scholarship application or a university application requires a personal statement, or a cover letter, as they may refer to it sometimes, or a motivational letter. They refer to it that way as well. And it's very important for us to understand the basic or main components of each personal statement and how or what should it include, right? So the first thing that you want to understand is you have to understand the purpose of a personal statement. Why do we need one? So you need one to let them know why you're great, and but without being too cocky, or you want to show your skills and efficiency, and prove your skills as well, experience and education and languages, without overdoing it. So you would want to dramatize but not lie. That's what a lot of the people that I look up to have taught me in my life, right? So the first thing you would want to do is introduce yourself, and you want to let the admissions committee know who you are. So you want to focus on that, by showcasing your experiences, your education, maybe background or whatever. Now, prior to going and delving deep into personal statements, and what to draft and what to include in a personal statement, you would want to know that one of the most important parts of a personal statement is to demonstrate two things. One, academic excellence. This is like, how high are my grades, right? So this is a crucial fact. I would say 35% of your personal statement is about how high your grades are, sometimes even more. So this is like the first card that you play when applying for a university, and you want to showcase that. So for example, if you have undertaken I don't know, if you're good at English literature, then you would want to talk about how you have analyzed famous poetry by, I don't know, Sylvia Plath or whatever it is, and you've dug deep into it, and that resulted in, for example, winning debates, or in class and outside of the classroom, and maybe doing an extra project, or being part of a certain community that has enriched you with all the information that you need. But it's not only, the thing is, you don't want to just talk about this uh, without a purpose. Your purpose is that you want to talk about this part and use it to show the committee, the admissions committee, why this part of you, the experience that you've gathered at school or uni or wherever, will help them in the future, or how will you contribute to them later on, right? So you want to demonstrate fit. So basically, if you have taken, let's assume that you're following the leaving cert, or whatever, A levels or whatever it is, and you took, I don't know, biology higher, chemistry higher, physics higher level, and you want to apply for law. That doesn't really, so doesn't work like that, right? Uh, Ironically, I went to law school and all my subjects were not related to law. I took physics, maths, biology, chemistry higher, and I ended up doing law because I thought I was going to do medicine, then I changed my mind. It works sometimes, and I was lucky to get in, but usually it doesn't, because you need to pick your subjects accordingly prior to deciding, which is one of the dumbest things ever, because you end up spending a lot. Most teenagers have no idea what they want to be. I mean, I'm 32 years old and I'm still switching careers, so this is one of the, we're not going to get into that, but this is something very dumb. However, it is what it is, right? You want to make sure they demonstrate fit in terms of program, culture, values, what the college offers, the goals. So prior to writing a personal statement, you want to spend around 2 to 3 hours, I mean longer if you can, on researching the university itself, or even longer if you're talking about the scholarship, because there's a lot of competition. So you want to show the person reading your personal statement that you know about them, their values, goals, mission, what they do, their, how many international students they have, approximately the percentages, values, anything that will, tell um, the committee, the admissions committee, that you have done your research. This will indirectly demonstrate that you're a hard worker. So you don't have to tell them that, but by showing that you have demonstrating such and such, that you've researched it, then it kind of subconsciously tells them that, this person actually does the job of researching and he looked us up. Majority of people don't really look up universities. They don't look up the scholarships. They just apply. This is what an average or even a below average personal statement would look like. My name is this. I'm really good in that. These are my scores. I'm passionate about this. And I would love to join you because you're great. Yeah, that doesn't cut it. You got to talk and delve deeper into what they do. Relate that to your personal experience. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is emotions. Emotions are very important in personal experience. Like, I'm not saying cry to them about being admitted. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying don't beg, don't cry, don't do any of that. But demonstrate that you're a human being and that it's not ChatGPT generated. How do you do that? You want to make sure to kind of align with their cultures, values, goals, and missions. You want to show them that you're aware of what they do, like I previously mentioned. Plus, you want to somehow show them that your goals are very similar to theirs, if not the same. For instance, if they're working on, let's say, I don't know, improving human rights around the world, and this university is very famous for its annual debates on activism, or let's say, I don't know, preservation of nature around the world, wherever you're doing, whatever, like if you're doing engineering, or like then it holds annual space committees, I don't know, whatever. You want to like kind of relate that to a personal experience. So obviously you're not that experienced since you're only 17, 18, 19, maybe 20 years old. So you'd want to maybe talk about a certain ambition of yours or an event that led you to this. For instance, I knew a guy, a student that I taught, and I gave him an idea to write about. He was applying to go to mechanical engineering, I believe, and I talked to him about how he was like, he came up with this part, and he said that he's fascinated by cars and all that, and then the invention of the wheel, and we kind of together thought of an idea that perhaps he could, if he talked about how he at some younger age was fascinated by how a car, how you're sitting in the car. We all had this thing that when we were sitting in the car, we were younger, we thought that the car wasn't moving, but everything outside was moving, right? So, well, I thought maybe that if you could incorporate this idea and tell a story about how one day you're like, hold on a second, the car is moving, so how does the car move? And then that triggered this thought of wanting to know more about cars, which led to you being interested in mechanical engineering and, cars and whatever it is you're doing. This is just a mere example of, and that you start your personal essay with a personal story that triggers the person reading it. They want to know more, like you hook them, like a short story. But like, make sure you don't overdo it, because personal statement has to be, well, it doesn't have to, but there are no rules, but ideally should be 1 page long. So you're doing that, and you're starting your personal essay with just one little paragraph, and you're demonstrating this experience that occurred to you as a young man or woman who or boy or girl, or if you're very young, that triggered you into wanting to know more. So that kind of demonstrates passion, and the people that are grading you and admitting you to university or not, they get, they're delighted by the fact that someone actually has, it might be fake, most people make this up, but still, this is something that you have to understand, that this is how the world works in terms of personal statements, right? Now, the second thing, well, not second, but I lost count. You gotta reflect on experiences. Of course, again, as I told you, the second thing, I believe, other than passion and sharing the same motives, cultures, whatever it is that you want to make sure that you have this well, a lot of scholarships require you to go back home and serve your country and apply whatever you learned at uni, like Chevening and Fulbright, right? Those are main massive scholarship programs that require students to return to their home country and stay in their home country for a period not less than 2 or 3 years. So that program, you have to show them and demonstrate what your intentions are upon graduate. A lot of people make this mistake and they say like, well, when I graduate, I want to stay there and find a job. Well, that's a red flag, because most likely you will not be admitted and you will be rejected for sure, because that violates their policies. So you want to make sure that you somehow incorporate this in the very end of your personal statement, that you plan to go back home and you plan to elevate your country status. Could be we're not talking about macro elevation, we're talking about minor elevation, like such as, I don't know, don't talk about starting a business. You'll be like 23, 24 when you graduate. So let's talk about getting a job somewhere and trying to incorporate a certain technique that you learned at uni. So let's go back to the example of, I don't know, mechanical engineering, and let's say you don't know what to say, right? So look up the courses of this university that you want to apply for, and look up a module and delve deep into it, and look up maybe publications or certain video that is published by this very university. Learn the methodology, learn something about it, and then incorporate this and say you want to learn how to do this and that, since it's a very unique and new incorporated system in the mechanical engineering world, which your country doesn't use, and you want to learn that at university. So when you come back, you benefit your country and you try to implement the system into a workplace that you hope to get a job in. So that's how it works, right? So this is excellent in terms of trying to show and demonstrate to the person reading your personal statement that you plan to go back and elevate the status of your country. The structure, as I said, start with the hook and talk about something that will grab the audience, well, not the audience, but the reader's attention, that happens to be a personal story of yours. It's very important to talk about challenges that you faced and highlight them. So one of the main things I tell students, students applying from third world countries have a massive advantage, and this is because they can always play the card of, well, I don't have any money, I worked so hard, and my country is in turmoil and conflict. I don't have a choice, I can't stay here, I can't study here, and I have to seek a scholarship because I don't have money to pay. You need proof of your parents' finance. If you get accepted for an interview, you will need to prove that basically you don't have any money. So, but before that, to get to the interview, you have to demonstrate that you need, you're in need of financial aid. So demonstrating that you need of financial aid and academic excellence are two main points that you have to elaborate upon in a personal statement. So if you live, let's say, in Syria, or in I don't know, let's say Lebanon, or in I don't know, Guatemala, wherever it is, and you want to go study in the United Kingdom, right? Or in Ireland, or whatever. So demonstrating that you are in need of financial aid is almost as equally as important as academic excellence, and sometimes even more, because they're provided with a really good reason to give you this scholarship, in opposition to students who live in first world countries and have good grades, right? Because at the end of the day, most people can afford just public schools, right? But if you indicate that even the public education or schooling system, university system, is crappy in your own country, then showcasing that is amazing. Or if your country's going through war, I don't know, any country going through war at the moment, and you want to prove to them that you can't stay here, you can't go to uni because of that, then you have a massive advantage. Well, I know that's unfair, but that's the way it is. I'm not saying that people in first world countries cannot demonstrate that they actually need financial aid, but that's everyone has their ways, right? You can, God forbid, if you're orphaned, you can talk about how you have been depending on yourself entire time. If you had a childhood trauma, you can somehow implement that without making them feel pity for you, but showing them that you actually need the financial aid to get accepted. So everyone has their way. So you got to figure your way out if you happen to need financial aid. Of course, you got to talk about skills and strengths and show, don't tell. Don't ever talk about, oh yeah, I'm great in this. This is what I'm good at. This is what I want to do. This, no, don't, like, you want to do this because you're great at that. We get that. But show me that you're great. Don't tell me that I scored 88% on higher level maths. No. Tell me that you scored in the top 5% of class of 2024. And through that, you have established whatever. You have learned this, you have implemented. I have managed to successfully, whatever. You're saying you're great, but you're not really praising yourself verbally. Like, you're not saying, I'm really good in English lit, but you're saying, I have managed to successfully complete whatever. And throughout throughout the school year 2023, 2024, I happened to be in the first top 6% of my class, and I successfully delivered, a speech, a 20 or 30-minute long speech about the theatrical life of William Shakespeare to an audience of around 300 students, and that resulted in the development of my communication and presentation skills, which I have used to further. And then you build up, and you gotta spend some time on that. So yeah, you're reflective on that. You have to stay focused and stay positive. Don't ever be cliche. So once upon a time, no, don't do that. Like when you tell a story and you start talking about, like, there was once a boy and once upon a time, that's immediately a red flag, and you don't want to do that. You want to write something that's unique to you. So avoid the cliche phrases and expressions. You don't want to do that. The most important, well, the last two things I want to talk about is instructions. Every institution that you apply for, probably reputable ones, they have instructions on how to apply, on key points to follow, what to mention and what not to mention, and so you have to really look them up and write them down and follow that lead. Like, do not just write stuff. The second thing that you want to talk about, and you make sure that you use in your personal statement, is that you want to have at least 2 or 3 more pair of eyes that will review your essay. I'm not saying don't use AI to correct mistakes and to brush up on statements, but don't have AI write your personal statement. Don't do that, or cover letter or motivational letter, whatever it is. Write it by yourself, but you can use AI to help you maybe develop a point, and then you change it. But don't ever have the final outcome generated by AI. Now, when I meant pair of eyes, or 2 or 3 pair of eyes for review, get a professor of yours or a teacher of yours, a family member, a friend, and significant other, or whoever it is, that can really review and critically analyze your personal statement and give feedback on certain, what do they think about it, and hear everyone out. But at the end, when you're ready to submit, and it's error free, and every typo is corrected, and every expression is changed to what fits best, and the story is completely told, and you end it nicely, then you want to submit it, but based on what you think is best. So the last decision should always be yours and not anybody else's, right? Take advice, but implement yours and follow your heart at the end of the day. In terms of the structure of the personal statement, I would always say that you obviously have to divide it into paragraphs. So we start with that story, a little bit of story to hook the reader into wanting to read more. Then the paragraphs, the length of the paragraphs and whatever, I would say something like, it doesn't have to be this way, but like something like this works. So a little hook story to what got you into this, then directly into achievements at school, then maybe extracurricular activities in the third paragraph, for any work experience, summer jobs, internships, volunteering experiences, donations, charity events. And then five, maybe, yeah, five talk about, well, maybe three talk about why them, why this university, and you really seek this university because of that, and switch that up with the fifth. The way it is, you set your own pace and what, what goes where. But I would say, why you, why them, personal experience, extracurricular activities, and of course the ending, looking forward to whatever, whatever, whatever. Kind regards, your name. Don't forget to write don't forget to use a proper email. So don't just send from your, I don't know, sub-zero 99999 email that you made when you were 12. Create a new one, a professional one, a Gmail one, and use that one. Name, surname, and number, whatever. Don't forget to include your email in the cover letter, typed, and your number as well in the cover letter. And that's how you write a personal statement. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and learned something new, and I really hope you do nail that personal statement of yours and get that scholarship and university acceptance in the future. Thank you very much for watching. See you soon.